What up, my people? ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome. Bienvenidos to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy En Día TV. I am your host and producer, Yessi Rodriguez. Welcoming to Hoy En Día, my amazing co-host, Dr. CC Andra, the Actionist. Bienvenidos. Welcome.
Yes. Happy Thursday. Happy Jueves. Feliz Jueves. I'm saying it right, but hey. Happy to have you all here.
Fantastic. Yes, you are saying it right. So good job. I see that little lingo is working off for you, huh? You've been practicing.
It is. I have them every day because if you don't practice, it give you a little mean face, and it'll send you reminders like, "Where are you? What's up? You need to come practice." So it's up to Duolingo.
Yes, that is awesome. So how have you been since the last time I saw you last week? Well, I saw you virtually, right?
Yes, really good. Today I went back to school with the kiddos and everything, so that was pretty phenomenal. I began thinking because I'll do substitute teaching every now and again, and the guest that we're going to bring on too, she does a little bit of that on the side too. So you get paid like $150 a day for substitute teaching, for those that didn't know, right? Here in North Carolina. And so the first day of school though was Wednesday. So they start in the middle of the week. I think that's smart. So you kind of get your feet wet a little bit and you get a little bit of a break. And then the following week is all, all in. And so I thought it was kind of sucky though, right? For a substitute to be present on a kid's first day. I didn't like that vibe. And I was like, if I'm a parent, I need to have a teacher. But for those of you that may not know, and some of you may know, teachers are really hard to come by these days. There's a shortage here in North Carolina. And though I have been with this school for 3 years, so I know, the ins and outs and that kind of thing, I just thought it was kind of tacky. But, the teacher that they did hire, she did pop in later in the day. She introduced herself to the kids, spent a little bit of time with them, and then, went on to do all the things that she needed to do. But so the classroom, we were fine, but I just thought that's not very cool, right? Because the kids were like, "Are you my teacher? Are you?" You're like, almost. They're like, "Huh?" And then new kids there that's never been to school,
Right.
But then I thought maybe it was more of a blessing. Instead of looking at it in the negative, I say, "Hey, this is a positive in the sense that I get to lay out the firm foundation for these kiddos, right? And I'm gonna bring God in the mix on everything." And so that was really kind of nice. God kind of helped me change my perspective on yesterday, because the whole time I was complaining this isn't good. It's not a good look. They got a substitute. They should have it. That kind of talk. So then I was like, no. I was a substitute that was there, but I'm a very good substitute. And I was able to lay a really firm foundation, within these last few days with the kiddos and stuff like that. And just letting them know the expectation and telling them that they are stellar. And when we transition from one classroom to the next, or go to lunch or to whatever, right? We walk, with our heads up, our shoulders back. We stay on the line, and it's a uniform school. So make sure your shirts are tucked in. You look nice and neat. Be the representative, of your parent, all of that kind of stuff. And they love that. It was having the kind of the S on their chest and oh yeah, I'm better than everybody else, but not in a bad way, just better in the sense of we are abiding by the rules. We're learning the rules. We're doing everything that we need to do. And you know what happened today? The dean came in at the end of the day, and he said, "Hey, I've been seeing I was in 4th grade today." He goes, "I've been seeing you guys walk around the school and stuff." He goes, "I'm very impressed." He goes, "You know what? I think you guys are more than likely going to be getting some incentives." So I thought that was pretty cool. Yes.
Look at you. Look at you. Yes. You know what? And I like how you shared that you switched the perspective from a negative into a positive. And now I like that. That makes sense, because I agree with you. You were that first face that they get to see, and then you instilling the positivity into their life ahead of time, before the rest of the school year took off. That's impressive. So yeah, good job. Okay.
Yeah, letting them know the standard. This is the expectation. This is the standard. This is what we're gonna do. And so now, hopefully, when their teacher comes in, their regular teacher, it'll be set and it'll be easy for her. You know what I'm saying? As long as she keeps it up. So the kiddos, they respect me. I know every person is different personalities. They respect me, and I was like, I'm gonna show you respect. No screaming and yelling at kids. We're just going to talk. And then we're going to do the countdown, kind of like that timeout, right? And so I tell them, I have a high respect for you. I tell them, just like I tell my children, hey, your voice matters. I was telling these kiddos that, today. And even in this little time, I was telling them too about, history. You got to know your history. Don't let it repeat itself. You know what I'm saying? Just differently, just trying to really set that. Because one of the children, one of the little girls, it blessed me so much. This little girl, we did like a getting to know you, so getting to know the classmates and all this kind of stuff. And one of the questions said, "What's one unique thing about you?" And she goes, "Like the God I serve, my Lord and Savior." And I was just like, I'm like, okay. And so when she was reading her paper, she goes, "I'm a Christian," and she was so proud, And I was like, me too, And then one little boy's like, "Oh, you can't talk about religion," and so that was a teachable moment for me. And so we put it out there, like, you can talk about your faith. You can talk about all the things they're telling you not to talk about, even though I know, I can't talk about that in school. We used to pray in school, for crying out loud, right? That kind of thing. And then you're saying, this is your constitutional right. So it was a segue to lead into learning about religion, also about politics, also about our U.S. Constitution, also about their freedoms and rights. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, you can indeed talk about it. I say, what you can't do and what you shouldn't do is put down another person's faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be respectful, because even Christians, even though we want to be like, "Oh, your religion is like totally fake," right? That's not how Jesus led, right? And so you're to be respectful, you're to be kind. He says to live at peace with everyone. Try to do that as much as you can, to live at peace with everyone. And so I was telling the kiddo, I was like, no, you have the freedom to talk about it, but just don't put down Christianity. Don't put down, if you're, Islam or Muslim, don't put down another religion. Just try to understand it. Right? Just try to understand it. I told him straight up. I said, look, Jesus Christ is the one and only true and living God. I know people out there might disagree with me. That's my faith. That's my belief. Because at the end of the day, we're going to see what the end going to be. Okay. It was so great. Yeah, I loved it. So I had a really good time. It was a positive day. It was really great. One of the kiddos, he goes, "I have a magic trick." And he wanted to share his magic trick. And he shared, and he was really good. Like, I was like, "Oh, how'd you do that?" It was so much fun today. And he was a new student coming from a completely different school and all of that. So him to make friends and do I felt good about that, because you know how it can be when you're the new kid on the block. Right. And so I was just so happy for that, for him making friends. And so today really blessed me. So for those fourth graders out there, I love y'all. You guys made me so proud and so happy today. And it was an honor to be your substitute teacher today.
You sound like an amazing teacher. When I was in fourth grade, I had an amazing teacher. His name was Mr. Acevedo. Rest his soul now. Rest in peace, because he's passed. But he was amazing too. Like, he was fun, just like you. So shout out to the fourth grade teachers. But I want to know more about this. So you're saying that there's a shortage in North Carolina for teachers, and then for substitutes, they can make up to $150 a day. Is that what I'm understanding?
No, not make up to. You get paid $150.
Yeah. So how long is that? Like, how early do you have to get up? How late do you stay? Yes. Like, how does that? What does the day in life look like for that?
So for my school, we're there from 7:30 to 3:30. So it's pretty much the standard schedule, for traditional schools and stuff like that. Yeah. So from 7:30 to 3:30, you're there doing all the wonderful things that you do. And of course, you get breaks in your schedule and stuff like that, when they're maybe at like PE or music or art, stuff like that. So you don't have anybody in your classroom, so you can kind of chill a little bit, go eat, whatever, that kind of thing. But yeah, and there is a shortage. And you know what? I didn't know in North Carolina, when I moved here a few years back, I didn't realize that that you could actually teach without having a NC, teacher certification. Like, you have to take a test, but they can still teach. I didn't know that. But I guess there is a period in time where they do have to kind of go back and get the certification, but they can start. So if you graduate college, but you haven't taken that state test, you can still teach. They do expect you to get the state licensure, right? But you can start teaching right away. And if you get that licensure, that certification, what have you, of course, you get paid a little bit more money, but you can start teaching right out of college. I didn't know that either. Yeah.
That's good to know. So I'm glad you're sharing that, because for the viewers and listeners out there who qualified, and that's going to be my follow-up question for you, is what are the qualifications? It sounds like you need a degree, right?
You do.
Okay.
I'm going to have to double check on because I got so many degrees. So I'm just thinking like, yeah, you got to have a degree, but I don't know that you do.
Oh,
I don't know that you do. I think that you do. I would go back and look at those qualifications for it, but I do have a degree. So I would, maybe,
yeah.
But I don't have But I don't have the North Carolina's, because I'm not like a teacher in that regard.
Right.
Certification, I don't have that. I don't plan on getting that, right? And you have to have a background check, of course, right? You got to check out, make sure you're good, that kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
So
It's a
do
very easy process.
Okay, so an individual who's interested in teaching, they just have to go to the North Carolina Department of Education, right? Is that right? Or,
Education, yeah, I believe that's where I was on. Yeah. Uh-huh.
okay.
And for ours, because where I live is Wake County, so it's Wake County Public Schools. If you go to that website, and I think it's .net, Wake County Public Schools.net, you go on there and you substitute, it'll pull up, it'll give you all the criteria that you need. But my process was very easy. Even my interview, which was very interesting, was a pre-recorded interview. It's where you have the staff, they record a question, and then you get like 3 minutes, I think. 3 minutes, I think it is. And you just record your response. And if you don't like it, they'll give you a second attempt. You re-record it and then you send it in. So it's no live person. It's all recorded. So for those of you that don't know these things about interviews, because technology has advanced so much, you don't necessarily have to have a real person in front of you anymore. As a matter of fact, I see that there's pros and cons to just having this one-way kind of interview. The pro is for the company, for the business, right? You're saving money. You're not having your hiring managers, sitting there interviewing people, talking to people, right? They're being productive, hopefully doing other things. So now you got this pre-recorded session. The person just shows up. We record all of our stuff. Once you send it in, and then they look at it, they see if they like you, and then they send you out a letter or not, right? That kind of thing. The downside for me as a interviewee was that, I got all dressed up, got my hair did, okay? I had on my little clothes, so I wanted to show up. I showed up, and nobody did a pre-recording. So I was like, not very personable. Then it made me think in my mind too, like, if they're doing this might not be a good company to work for. Like all of these. So these are questions that you really kind of got to ponder and things of that nature. But on the business side of the house for the organization, it was very cost effective, very time effective. You see what I'm saying? So that was a win for them. But again, for me being the interviewee, I just saw some other different things. I thought it would have been nicer to have someone on the side, talking to me and interacting and stuff. Because when you're done, they go, well, thank you for your submission, and good luck, basically, and that's it. And you just hit end and you go about your merry little day.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that insight, that day in a life and the background process. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. So this is an opportunity for the viewers and listeners who are looking to get into education. As long as you qualify, right? You have to run that background check. Hey, they're looking for teachers. So you're going to make a positive impact in a youth's life, helping them, coaching them, grooming them for the better. So just some food for thought out there. Thanks for sharing that, Cece. That's helpful. Wow.
Yeah. And you can be a short-term or a long-term substitute. So like where these gaps are and there's no, teacher that they haven't hired yet, you might be working as a long-term substitute for maybe 3 months, 6 months or longer, maybe the whole school year, just depending. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's your choice, whether you want to do that. I do short term, and two, you get to choose. There's a lot of flexibility because you can say, hey, I only want to work with 4th grade, or I only want to work with 8th grade, or, you can choose your grades. I do all the grades. I try to be very flexible because I'm trying to help a company out, and sometimes they're like, well, I don't have anybody, but I really need you here. And so I want to make life as easy for them as I possibly can. And then two, it's really cool because I get to meet kids, different ages, different grades. And it's really nice just seeing them grow and develop and that kind of thing. And just, conversing with them and all that. Because some of these kids those middle schoolers, they are something else, I tell you. But I've seen some of them since they were really little, and then growing on up. And I'm like, man, they're just getting so tall. Oh, your hair's getting so long. You see that. So they're like your babies, you know what I'm saying? And you just want to protect your babies. You want to protect them and make sure they're good and that kind of stuff. So I like it. I really do. But to do it every day, Monday through Friday, that's not my ministry. Okay. But part-time, sometime, I got you.
That sounds awesome, though. Well, hey, kudos to you for positively impacting the lives of the youths that are coming up today. So, hey, my hats off to you. I know it's not an easy job, especially dealing with different personalities and different types of, upbringings, right? Because everyone's household is different. So my hats off to you for sure, because I know that's tough.
Well, how have you been? What have you been up to?
You know what? I've been really good. Thankfully, everything's good. Just pushing the promo for the Powerhouse workshop. So I'm excited to say that with the workshop itself is not just going to be 4 weeks. It's going to be offered multiple times a year, and it's called the Powerhouse Workshops, which is going to be a combination of in-person sessions and virtual sessions. So right now, starting off with the 101 Powerhouse Workshop, and then from there, building it to the 102, 103, and 104, which are becoming in the fiscal year 26 or in the 26 year, 2026. So, but overall, just growing the brand. This was something that God downloaded on me and said, "Hey, why are you thinking just 4 weeks? Let's grow this, right? Let's grow this to more." And so voila, that's what happened. So just pushing that and helping it grow. And I'm excited for that for sure. Working with different productions. I recently did a voiceover work for a major company. Filming. I recently played a doctor in information for training videos. So just staying busy, right? And just pushing and yeah. And then Hoy En Día.
I love it. I love it. That's good that you're growing everything. It's going to be amazing, right? The Powerhouse. I know you've been advertising it. It's on social media, all that kind of stuff. So for those of you that can be a part, willing to be a part, you got one of the best, okay? And then the people that's on our team as well. So it's going to be amazing. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And it makes sense. Like, why not have more? The 102, the 103, and on and on and on, right? So I love that. I love that. Yes, that's really good. Very smart.
Thank you. And this is a reminder that I tell just anyone, whether it be in the acting industry or modeling, or like you, Cece, you pursued your doctoral degree, just anything that you really want. There's investment, right? Like when you pursued your doctoral degree, you had to invest. When I decided that I wanted to take my acting seriously, including voiceover work, theater work, etc., I invested in workshops, in different acting classes and mentors that are ahead of me, right? That's part of the process. And so this is just a reminder for you all with anything that you want to do, whether it be music, dance, art, what have you, investment is needed. I get it. You feel like, hey, this is God gave me this talent, which I agree. God gave me my talent too, but I still had to invest, right? So investment is key. Is pretty much. It's like even with a stock, you invest in the stock because you want to receive a return, right? You want to grow your stock, but you're investing in your stock. You can't expect it to grow without investing. I mean, food for thought, right? So just want to share that out there for food for thought, just in anything in general that you really want to pursue and take seriously. Investment is going to be necessary, regardless of what it is. So, but thanks for asking.
I love that. I love that. I like how you use the analogy with the stocks and stuff because, you get that greater rate of return on the investment, right? Mm-hmm. You are an investment. So why not invest in yourself and get the greater return on you? So I like that. Very nice. Very, very well said. I know this is going to be leading into, what our guest talked about, this rate of return on invest, all these, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I'm laying the groundwork. I'm laying the foundation. But before I pivot over to introducing our guest, this is something important that I want to share that was recently shared with me. Very important that are affecting women and children. And in light of the conversation with you being, substitute teacher, and then just us being women in general, regardless of your age or how tough you feel you can be, right? Because I get it, we're like, hey, nothing's going to happen to me. But nowadays, with so much happening in this world, we just never know. We just protect and pray and watch your surroundings. So pretty much what's happening, Cece, is I came across a video that was shared with me, going viral. A police officer sharing a reminder for women, whether you're going to do grocery shopping or to the department store or to returning books at a library, wherever you're at that's outside of your home where you feel protected. Just be mindful of your surroundings when you're coming back to the car. So what's happening is there's a group of individuals. They didn't say whether it's just specifically men or women, but individuals working together where they're doing like a kidnapping scheme. They're lacing a dollar bill, $50 bill, $100 bills with fentanyl, putting it in people's, like on top of the windshield, by the tires, somewhere where they can see it. So they can be like, "Ooh, that's $100. Let me grab it." And they're inhaling those fumes and they're passing out. And so what's happening is that from there, they're getting kidnapped and now they're disappearing. And so this has been going on and on. More and more people have been going missing. And so this is just bringing more awareness to you. If you see $100 bill, yes, it looks pretty, but do not pick it up. If you see $100 bill, one, consider like, it's a little suspicious, especially if it's sitting on top of my windshield. Like, why? Right? Like, that's my first question is why? Secondly, call 911 right away. Call 911, get in your car, lock your car, because not only are you going to be helping yourself, but you're going to be helping someone else. This is about looking out for each other now too, right? Because somebody else might really need the $100 and not knowing that now they're going to pass out and get kidnapped. So I say this to say, one, be mindful of your surroundings. Two, if this does happen to you, which I pray it does not, but if it does, do not pick it up. Call the police. Stay in your car where you're safe. Also, request that they pull the security cameras, because more than
I think you're frozen. I can't hear you. Yessie, you are frozen on my end. Not sure if you can hear me. I'm not sure if you, the viewers out there, can hear her either, but I'm very aware of what she is speaking about. So yeah, we definitely have to be very, very careful of our surroundings and making sure that we are paying attention and not doing that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we have to be our brother's keeper, our sister's keeper. So we definitely got to look out for one another. And there's so many scams out there nowadays, you know, with people doing so many different things. And so you definitely have to be on the lookout. Get off of your phones when you're walking out to your car, right? Make sure you're looking around. You know, I'm military, so I'm hyper vigilant, right? It's just an automatic. So I'm always looking around, right? I'm always, you know, checking things out, stuff, even my door handle for my car, you know, things of that nature, because they can put stuff on your handle of your car doors and things of that nature. So just be aware of your surroundings, right? Making sure, you know, I'm always strapped. Okay, so don't get it twisted. Okay, so you don't want to come barking up these doors. But you know, if you are a licensed, you know, carrier, you know, or permit, right, you know, have your weapons on you, right? Have them in your car, whatever the case may be. Be wise, right? We don't want to go around just killing people. It's enough of that happening out there, but make sure that you are wise in what you're doing on a day-to-day, and be safe. Look out for one another. It is so imperative that we do that, right? As a people, as a nation, right? Just as a decent human being, make sure that you are doing that on a day-to-day basis. All right, you made it back. I was telling you I was familiar, just being careful, right? Just watering right up to make sure that we're doing what you're saying to do, because it is very serious. Yeah.
But you know what's interesting, Cece? I just thought about this. As I'm talking about something important, the internet decided to go away. That's really weird. That means the enemy is trying to stop this message, because what? You're not going to stop it.
No. And you know, the last time we was having
about that, I'm like, what? Yeah. Yes. I feel like obviously we're talking truths if the enemy is trying to stop us. But guess what, enemy? You're not going to stop us. Sorry. You're alive. Either way, I will beat you today and every day of my life. Bye. 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 Bye.
That's right.
So
we're saving lives. With this information, we're saving lives, right? Making people aware. Some people may not have heard it. This might be the you know, the show that they watch to get their news, and you know what I'm saying? So you're saving lives. So yeah, be aware, people. Be aware of your surroundings.
And I agree with you. This happened the last time that we were talking about a deep topic too. Oh gosh. Woo! See, this tells you that what we're doing here is divine. Like, that's confirmation for me. That's confirmation for me. If this happens, if this is like a pattern, that's like, something ain't right. And you know, you and I are very, very bright apples. And we're spiritual too. And we believe in God. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. And sorry about that. Yeah. So my internet, for those who are like, hey, what happened to Yessie? Yes. So the enemy tried to stop the message, but again, it's not going to happen. Bottom line, like Cece was saying, just be mindful, protect yourself, protect your children, because not only is the adult getting kidnapped, but if there's a child involved, obviously the child is going to be taken as well. So But yeah, that's mainly the food for thought I wanted to bring. So let's pivot over because we have our guest patiently waiting for us. Um, and I'm excited to introduce. So, this individual, this special guest, lovely lady, Powerhouse CEO and founder of CoachBFinancial, a woman on a mission to help you rewrite your money story. So, from saving pennies as a little girl to building a thriving financial coaching business, our guest, I'm not going to say her name yet, has mastered the art of turning dreams into plan and a plan into those results that you want to see. So, with our guest, we're going to talk about how to take control of your money and stop letting it control you, breaking free from financial guilt and shame, simple budgeting tips that actually work, and why her motto is don't get ready, be ready, right? This episode is full of the empowerment, whether you're just starting on your financial journey or ready to level up. So, I'm going to say her name. Our special guest, Shana Brown, is a visionary CEO and founder, like I mentioned, of CoachBFinancial. So, a company that was born from her dream to help people transform the narrative of their financial well being. As a young age, she had a passion for all things money. And growing up as a natural saver, she learned the value of financial discipline at an early age, a mindset she still lives by today. Her mission is to empower and inspire individuals to see their finances in a new light and take confident steps towards that financial stability. So, our guest holds a bachelor's degree in both business administration and accounting from Flagler University. And with 14 years of experience in banking industry specializing in accounting, Sheena is truly an expert when it comes to numbers. Yes. Recognizing the struggle that many people face today in navigating their finances, she's founded CoachBFinancial to provide practical tools and personalized guidance. Through tailored budgeting and strategies, she's helped her clients gain that control over their finances rather than letting them control them. So her clients appreciate the proven systems she puts in place, allowing them to plan for a better future for not only themselves, but for their families without feeling any guilt or shame about where they're starting from. So beyond her professional achievements, Sheena is a devoted wife and a mother of two young men. She is passionate about giving back to her community, actively participating in organizations that create positive change. She also enjoys connecting with like-minded women through her book club, watching sports, and playing the piano. Ooh, that's fun. And of course, crocheting. A true go getter, Shayna believes in turning vision into action. And when she sets her mind to something, she creates a plan and executes it with determination. She's a saver, investor, and a giver, driven by genuine desire to see others succeed in every aspect of their financial journey. At Coach B Financial, Shayna's goal is to help you let your light shine and step confidently into financial freedom. Her motto, don't get ready, be ready. So without further ado, let's welcome to our guest, Shana Brown. Shana, welcome to Hoy En Día TV.
I think lost her. But no, we're good. Okay.
We're
It
back
froze
now. We're
up
back. We're
again.
back.
Yes. So
Welcome.
Shanae Brown.
Oh,
Woo!
Shana.
Hello, hello,
Don't say your
hello.
name wrong. Shanae, welcome to Hoy En Día
Shanae,
TV.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
You are most
So I said a
welcome. So happy
mouthful.
to
I
have
said a
you.
lot. Hopefully it was captured. I'm not sure what was captured of it, but who would you say you are in a nutshell?
Who do I say I am? I am a Christian, first of all. I am a Christian. I am a believer. I am a loving, fun, um, just a person that loves to give love, share love, help. I'm a helper. I love to help people. Sometimes I wonder, do I help too much? But I just want to see people succeed. I do work in the school system now, and so I'm always encouraging and inspiring the students. And the funny thing about it is, I was like, wow, I know that Cece is in the school system, and I can hear the same things that she's providing. I'm doing the same thing too. So it's nice to hear that, there are people like substitutes. We're out there, not just sitting there being babysitters, but wanting to see the children succeed.
That's
I love it.
amazing. Yes. So tell us more about Coach B Financial.
Okay, so Coach B Financial, it started, like you said, with a dream. I was like, I need to get myself together, right? So I was in debt, and I was like, okay, me getting out of debt, I was like, I can help people, because I know the feeling of the struggle, the feeling of laying down and bills are on your mind, and debt is on your mind. Everything is on your mind around money. And once I got out of debt, because I had the credit cards, the student loans, the car payments, the everything that caused you to be in debt, I had it. And once I established that, and I took my family through the process with me, I was like, I can help more people. And what I noticed is people in my neighborhood, they live nice, but no one showed them they're not showing others how to get to that point. And I was like, I can be that light. I can be that person. I already like to help people. So I was like, I know what it takes, and I'm going to help whoever wants to be helped to get there. Because a lot of times when you're trying to do it yourself, you don't even know where to start or the tools that it take. And I do. And when I tell you, I don't care what your situation, circumstances, we're going to pray it through. We're going to be accountable with each other, and we're going to make it happen. Is it easy? It is not. But is it possible? Yes, it is.
I love that. I love that about it not being easy, but it being possible, and the whole accountability piece as well. Can you tell us, Shanae, what was the catalyst, right? What was the thing to say, hey, I'm going to get out of debt. I'm going to learn how to do this, because your brother was on last week, y'all. You guys remember Sure Win, okay? Let's Win Financial, okay? And I wanted to tell the viewers out there too, Let's Win. I wanted him to get into the name a little bit, but I forgot to ask him. But I love his name. When I heard that, I was like, oh, you're going to name the company this, Let's Win. I'm like, oh my goodness. Because his wife, now he talked about his wife, Leslie, right?
Mhm.
Being a CPA. So her name is Leslie, and he is Sure Win. So they combined the name. So Let's Win. So just family. I'm loving it. But what was the catalyst for you to be like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm fed up. I'm going to get out of this debt. I'm going to learn stuff about money. Like, what was the thing you're like, what was that point? What was that?
Oh, to be honest, I was always good with money, right? So I thought I was good with money, but there was no movement, no savings, no true investments, no buying the properties that I dreamed of as a little girl, not even knowing. But what happened? Let me tell you what happened. I had a $4,000 credit card debt. $4,000 credit card debt that my husband did not know about. And I was like, oh, how do I tell him? How do I tell him? And I was like, oh, Lord, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Okay, so once I told him, it wasn't peaches and cream after I told him now. And then once I told him, I had to prove to him that I was serious in order for him to get on board. And once he saw the work and the turnaround, that's what jump started me to get my money right and then learn to help other people. I taught the class at my church, 2 classes, and I was like, you know what? I can do this myself. I can go in my own business and do it. And I just jumped out on faith and started. Now, you did mention my brother. I had started on Fridays. It's called Friday Money Motivational. And I was doing it at the bank. I would send out emails to my friends every Friday to encourage, to inspire, to motivate them about money. And then I got a little busy. And then my brother jumped in and started typing away, and he became good at it. So we worked somewhat together as a team. And that's another thing. We build together, we encourage together, we inspire together. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of people. They just want it on their own, but we bounce off each other. And when you bounce off each other, you move higher together. So we support each other, and we're big on that. He's my biggest cheerleader. He texts, "Hey, you're going to be on tonight? I'm going to be on with you. I'm going to be there watching you." So that's kind of how it started, was the $4,000 credit card. And once that took off, with that, it just catapulted me to start helping people, because once I figured out what to do, then I knew I could help other people on doing what to do. And the funny thing about it is, people think it take a lot of money to get out of debt. It does take money, but I never made a lot of money. I never made a lot of money. And to be honest, I never made over $50,000. And I still to this day haven't made over $50,000. But the savings, I can't preach it enough, the savings
Right.
helped me move to the next level in purchasing property, in investing, not having a car payment. Now I can use that money for investing. People, if they just take a step back and live within their means and not above their means, and have control. It takes control. For me, it's a budget. I can't live without my budget. And each line item tells me, if I put a line item for clothing, I put a line item for clothing. And then when I go shopping, I know exactly how much I have for that line item to go shopping. And I don't have to feel guilty. My hair, I put a line item for my hair. I get my hair done every month. I put a line item. You have to put line items for those. You have to allocate. And so those are my things that I did. I did the debt snowball. To me, that's amazing. It works. Why not do things that work? But if you don't know, then you need help. My credit, I'm always paying attention to my credit, because my philosophy is don't get ready, be ready. When it was time to buy my first property, I already knew my credit was fine. So I didn't have to get ready and go to the bank and for them to worry about the loan. And now I got to go back and work on my credit. I already knew my credit was good. When you walk in the bank, you walk in with confidence. So when you walk out, you walking out with that loan money to go buy that property. Don't get ready, be.
That's right.
Mic drop.
Absolutely. Now, for someone starting their financial journey, what would be the first step that they would take before they even create a budget?
Oh, that's good. So most people are embarrassed, and most people don't like to write it down. Write down everything that goes on in that month. That is huge. Just write it down. Write down what you bring in at the very top and just start listing. What's the first thing you need? A roof over your head. The second thing you need, the lights on. The third thing you need is transportation. The fourth thing you need is groceries. Those are the 4 things you need. You need to start at the top and work your way down. And what I learned is, one of the things I learned was, growing up, we had a house phone. Now we have cell phones. So if you think about it, your house phone was how much a month? Probably, I'll just say $80 a month on average. That high or low. But today, how much is your cell phone bill? On average, if you think about it, it's $200 to $300. That's just your cell phone. But you need Wi-Fi. We didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi back then. It's those little things that people are not thinking about that we are paying more for. Cable.
That's
how
true.
much was cable? Cable wasn't as expensive as it is now. Those things are so much more that we have to add to the budget, and it hurts us. Streaming services, all of those things add up, but do we need them all?
No.
Because now we're on our phones, but we're paying for cable that we're not watching.
That part. That part right there.
And you don't know how to with cable, you may watch my favorite show used to be ID Investigation. I was
Mm.
watching it so much. I was watching it so much. My children knew what channel to turn it to. I got rid of cable. I got rid of cable because now Amazon Prime has an alternative to those shows. So we got to start thinking of alternatives. And that's how you create a budget. Do you need that? Do you want that or do you need that? Do you want to be in debt or do you want to be out of debt? You have to go through each line and get rid of some things. People don't like to sacrifice. They have a problem with
That's it.
sacrifice for a temporary time period to get where they
Yes.
need to be in the long term.
You know, you said something powerful. You said, writing it down. And when you said that, I kind of cringed on the inside because, I've been there, done that, right? Because when you write it down, it's real. You were like, I spent so much money on what? I spent $200 on coffee. Like, did I do that? I really did that. Like, man, it just went by so fast, right? And then the only thing I got to show for it, right, or the extra calories, right? You know what I'm saying? Is I got to go run down and work this all. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got. The word embarrassment. And when you said that people are embarrassed, right? Because it's associated, embarrassment is a close sister of, guilt and shame, right?
Mm.
And so typically you might feel guilty about that stuff. Do you see that a lot in your clients? You're like, I don't want to write it down because if I don't see it, then it's like somehow it's not there. Like it didn't happen,
Right.
It's just kind of
Yes.
out there in the air. How do you help people move past the embarrassment? How do you help them move past and maneuver the shame? Like with you said the $4,000 credit card debt. Now you got to talk to your husband. You said it wasn't an easy conversation. You know what I'm saying? Would love to learn the language. Like, what did you really tell him to do? Because some of us need to tell our husbands, okay? So they can be okay. And we can get on this journey where you're at, right? Debt-free, investments, owning properties, all of these things. But
I was just
back to
like,
the question. What do you,
oh, yeah.
yes, go for it.
So I just said I got to tell him, even though I didn't want to. So I had to pray about it. And then I said, I just need to talk to you. I just need to talk to you. I need to tell you something. And when you got to tell something that you don't want to, it's just hard, but it's necessary. It's necessary. And now we're on the other side, and it's like that was years ago. We don't moved on. We don't moved on. So now we can laugh about it. We can laugh about it. But what happens is when I get the clients, we do it together. A lot of times, most people don't want to show you their personal finance. And I get that because it's personal. I'm personal. I'm private, so I get it. So I try to make people feel comfortable. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you get over that hump. I'm here to help you to succeed. I'm here to help you know that it can be done with time and work. It does not happen overnight. You did not get in debt overnight. You're not finna get overnight. It takes work. It takes work. It takes sacrifice. So helping people when they come to me, I'm going to make them smile. I'm going to make them feel comfortable. Strangers, they're like, I've had strangers be like, oh my goodness, they don't know me. But once I make them comfortable, make them feel like they can do it, then they start to believe. At first, they'll tell me, this is hard. And I said, it is. I know it is. But let's look at 30 days. I'm sorry, 90 days. Let's put it together. We put it together. So for me, you should do a budget a month before it begins, right? So we're working towards it because it's a foundation. You got to lay the foundation. And then the next month, like coming up September, we go live. And then every week, we come back, have a conversation. It's like a board meeting. You're the CEO of your household. So you need to have a meeting about your money and see how it flows. Did it work? Did it not work? Can we increase, decrease? Most people I'll tell them you need a second job because of the way the economy is now. That one income is not going to work. But if this is what you want to work on, then this is what's going to happen. But also, what I also tell my clients is when you start to do good with your money, God blesses you with more. He sees that you can handle it, then he gives you more. And blessings come from different directions. They come from different directions.
That's definitely good feedback and good food for thought. I agree with that. For me, I've noticed a lot of people they start great with the plan, but then they often fall back into their old habits. So what motivation or words of encouragement do you typically use for an individual that has that struggle to say, like they have to admit, like I didn't really follow what you and I had talked about. How does that look, and how do they transition from that?
So you know how you ride a bicycle? You fall off. You don't just stop riding that bicycle and stop trying to learn. You get back on, and then you become very good at what you're doing, right? So what I do with my clients, we have a monthly meeting where everybody can get on the call, and I'll teach a lesson or something, and then I'll try to do testimonials because I want them to know that they're not out here by themselves. So we can give a win. What was your win for the month? It can be big or small, to keep you encouraged, not just hearing from me, but hearing from the ones that have seen the results, the ones that have been blessed. So that's how we keep it going. I also, when I send them the budget, because they do the budget, I actually do the budget with them. And then I send them the budget, but I also send them their growth charts. Like if your goal is 5,000 or 7,000 or 5,000 for the year, when I send you the budget, I'm going to send you how much you save this month, how much you save for the quarter, how much you save for the year. So we do quarterly, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. So that way we're tracking what you're doing, right? And then with the debt, we're doing the snowball method. We're tracking what we're doing. And then with your children, I think you should do this with your children. When we were getting out of debt and saving money, I would have a budget meeting with my whole entire family. I would print out a copy for my boys and my husband, and we would go line item by line item. Because now I'm not just teaching my husband and I'm teaching my boys. My oldest son is independent, doesn't ask me for $1. My youngest is 17. He is the best saver in the world. He rather save than spend because we had conversations. Those are the things that I think families are not doing enough of or not doing at all. I hear people always say, I wasn't taught this. Well, just because you wasn't taught this, we need to start teaching our kids. But you got to figure out how to teach your kids, right? But just sit down and everybody write it out and have a conversation. It works constantly in the car. Sometimes going to school, my son and I, we have a conversation about investing. We have a conversation about saving. We have a conversation about the debt. So I included my boys. So when my oldest turned 18, he wasn't starting from scratch or didn't know how. My youngest one, same thing. I feel like when he takes off, he'll really take off better than my oldest son because middle school is hard. They don't want to listen. Catch them when they're babies. If you catch them when they're babies, and they get the understanding of the saving, you got something good. Now they're not asking you.
Let me ask you this question. So you're talking about the savings and catching them when they're babies. How young is too young to begin to teach them, right, about this? Like, what is the age, that you like this kid will begin to kind of understand this? Because a lot of times I know parents like, oh, they're just too young, they're just my little baby, but kids understand a whole lot more than we give them credit for. So what is like a good age that you would recommend for parents to begin to just talk about the basics, right, of saving money?
I would say 5. Probably I would even say 3, but I'll start at 5. And we would, yes. Every time they get some money, like cash money, it doesn't matter. It could be change, how much you want to save, how much you want to spend, how much you want to give. Every time you ask them that question, how much you want to save, spend, give, and they only spend out the spending jar, envelope, whatever you want to put together, whatever. They spend that money, they keep the savings and don't spend that. And the give, or charity. You could give it to church or save for a gift for mommy or a gift for your friend's birthday, any of that. So that money is already there. It's not touching their spending money. And over time, it grows. When you plant a seed, it doesn't grow overnight. It grows over time. And so with my youngest being such a great saver, when he wants a pair of shoes or he wants to buy a video game and he knows that I'm not going to buy it, he'll go ahead and take care of it himself. He doesn't have a job. He's 17 years old. How does he get the money? Christmas, birthday, honor roll, cutting my parents' yard, all of that. But he's been such a saver that he doesn't have to ask me for the things that he truly wants. And it's teaching him independence where he doesn't have to come to me and say, Mom, I really want these pair of shoes. Well, I provide school shoes, maybe Christmas and maybe birthday. And anything in between, he's doing. It teaches him to go ahead and get the things that he wants if that's truly something he wants.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So I actually agree with you. Five, I believe is a good learning opportunity, like in general, because I agree the child knows a lot more compared to like a 3 or 4 year old. So 5, I would agree, is a good age for sure. So what has been the biggest challenge that you faced in building your overall CoachBFinancial, and how did you overcome it? Right, because we're human, things happen, but how do you keep this consistently going to keep motivating people?
The dedication that I feel that I have because I have a passion for it. You know, your community doesn't have to be large. You just need to be able to service your people. And if I'm committed, I tell my people, if you're going to be committed, I'm going to be committed. And I have people that's been with me from the start, and they probably don't even need my help, but they love the commitment between them and myself. One of my clients, he says, if I can get a haircut every 2 weeks, and he doesn't miss, then I can be on this call to make sure my money is in order every 2 weeks. If you think about it, people gonna get their hair done and make sure it's right, but they don't want to make sure their money right. So I even have a call after this call because of the commitment. If you want to meet at night and you work, we're gonna meet at night. And how do I keep them coming? You that has to be within your soul, within you. You have to want to see bigger, better. I'm going to be here for you, but you got to want to see it for yourself and not just your right now. Because in 20 years, if it's already expensive to live the way it is, imagine what it's going to look like in 20 years.
Good point. Good point. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that as well, because even with you doing so many amazing things, how do you balance being a CEO, a wife, a mother, active member of society without feeling that burnout?
When I see people winning and the passion behind, I started something, I got to see it to the end, and but the little wins help me keep going. These people are dependent on me. So they need my support. I didn't start this business just because. I started this business because I saw people hurting and I knew that I could help them, and I will continue. So my dad's a pastor and he's been doing it for like 44 years. When we commit, we commit. We commit. And it doesn't matter if my son has a game, I'll reschedule. You may have something going on, we'll reschedule, but we're going to meet if you're committed. And that's one of the problems with people. They're not committed. They want it, but they don't want to commit. Yeah.
So how do you handle that? How do you handle that, with the commitment piece, right? So I'm just speculating here. I'm assuming, and I don't want to do that. So I want to ask you, right? When you get a client and you see that the commitment's just not there, right? What's the language, or what do you do in that case? How do you turn them away, kick them to the curb? Like, what do you like? Because sometimes this is your business, this is your livelihood, and like you said, you want people to commit to it, right? If they're not committed to it, why am I wasting my time doing it? So how do you handle those people where you're like, they're not serious, they're not ready? What's the language? What's the conversation? What do you do in that case?
It's not really a language or a conversation. It's just they don't show up. But it's kind of like the gym. When you don't show up to the gym, with that subscription. They're not going to call you and say, hey, you didn't show up today. You did not. So that's how I kind of operate. But what I do ask is, and I'm very transparent. If this is not working for you, just send me a text, and you'll go on your merry way. And I'm okay with that because I truly want to work with people that are committed. It used to bother me at first that I'm like, I want it, but I can't want it as bad as you want it. You know what I mean? I can't. And if I lose you, then God will send me somebody else that really wants it. So it opens the space and the door for others. And when I get the committed people and I get the ones that are truly consistent, they have seen the biggest impact in their finances.
That's
The big,
amazing.
yeah.
Yes, I
So
love that. And so with that in mind, overall, what would be a day in a life? Like, let's say somebody calls you today and says, hey, I want to work with you. How does that process look for an individual who's curious, who's watching and says, hey, I want to work with Shanae? How does that look?
I love it. I love it. And I'm like, yes, 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 let's go. So Coach B did come into effect by me. I'm a sports person, love sports. I love to win. I am a go-getter when it comes to sports. Only girl of 3 boys. So we grew up watching sports. And when you play ball, you go hard. So for me, with that being said, I wanted to be a coach. So coaches in finance. So Coach B Brown is my last name, and financial. You come to me, you say, hey, I need assistance or help. I'm scared. I don't know where to start, what to do. Then what I like to do is find out what's your dreams, what's your goals, what are you wanting? And then we put a plan in action. How much do you want to save, or how much debt do you have? We talk about those things. That way I can see how I can help you. What do you want to save, or do you want to get out of debt, or do you want to buy investment property? What are you wanting? And then we put the plan in action. I like to give an example of what the budget looks like. And then I have the client, go and finish writing things down, because what we go over is the basic, but you're going to leave things out when we first start. You just are. Then you send it to me. I put it in the spreadsheet. We get on a call. We walk through it together. So you're not in this by yourself with me. And then what I do is we meet weekly. We meet weekly in the beginning. When you become good, we meet every 2 weeks. Then once you become a master, we meet once a month, just to make sure everything is in alignment. And I think a lot of times, like you said before, you said, oh, people get tired. It gets old. With relationships, you got to be creative. You got to come up with ideas. You got to come up with things to make your spouse happy, or whoever. You got to go out to dinner. You got to change it up to make. Budgets are boring. I'm just going to say they are. They just are. They really are, but not me. I love doing my budget. Because every Friday when it's payday, I don't have to figure out, well, what's due today? Well, when did I pay this? Or that plan is already in place every Friday. And all I do when I wake up in the morning, go click, 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 and I'm good. So then after that, I know how much I've already put in savings. I know how much I'm 1% in my utilization in debt. So I try to keep that low. My bills are paid. Now I can go and eat out if I want to. And so people feel like you're restricted. You're not. You're just in control. Because a lot of times we let it control us. And then we're
I love that.
We're paycheck to paycheck. I don't believe in that. I don't. And with me, we're not going to be
I
paycheck.
love that. You dropping some gems and some coins, like, that paycheck, because we hear it. But I love, you're the first person I heard to say that. I don't believe in that. And, and that's good. That's so good. We don't believe in that paycheck to paycheck. I know right now it may be like that, but we don't believe in that. Let me ask you this. When you're putting, aside savings and things of that nature. What is kind of like, just a kind of a standard, I know everybody's paychecks are different and things of that nature, but to put aside savings, how much should a person be putting aside, whether it's a month or, whatever, what does that look like? What's like the standard? And I also want you to talk about the debt to income ratio, the utilization of that, what those percentages look like. Because I know people go out there, research, they do some things, but let's just talk about it here with Hoy En Día TV.
So let me say this. I keep it simple. I really do. I'm a simple person. I need A plus B plus C. I don't need A plus D plus E. I don't even worry about percentages. I worry about what that paycheck say and how much it say I could put in savings. So like, people do 50, 30, 20 or whatever. I do what the budget say. If the budget say I can do 100 this time, we're going to put 100 in savings. If the budget say I can do 50 this time, we're going to do $50 in savings. If the budget say I can do 500, we're going to do 500 in savings, because each month is different. I may not be able to do that 30% in savings every time. I may not, because this trip is coming up to Las Vegas and I'm working on that. And I also believe people should live. I'm not, because before I used to be like, no, you can't go nowhere. You can't do anything. Now in the beginning, I do want to tell you that just take a step back and let's work towards it. Not just go do it. Because I don't really like to go on a trip and bring the trip bills home with me. I really don't like doing that. So we're going to work on that trip. So when you come back, you don't have that trip following you home. Because what happens is people like to swipe, and they don't pay attention. And then it's out of control. And then my thing is, if you didn't have it when you swipe, you're not going to have it next month when you swipe again. So you're just building on top of what you already got. And you out of control. So you don't know how to reel it back in. And another thing is, I don't have anything wrong with credit repair people, but if they clean your credit up, how do you learn how to master your credit? You don't.
No, because it's a business. They're trying to make that money. So they don't care. They're going to be like, yep, keep on coming.
And they make very good money doing it. And it hurts my heart because people are not learning how to manage their credit. There's 5 credit factors that you should know. If you learn those 5 credit factors and stay on top, you'll have a good credit score. And so what we teach our children, what's your credit score? No, what are the 5 factors that determine your credit score? Ooh. So that's what we should be teaching. What are those to get that credit score? So if we don't know those 5 factors, then our credit is just going to be all over the place and shot. And now that's why we can't buy those houses. That's why we rent, because we wasn't educated on keeping good credit.
So for the viewers and listeners that don't know what those 5 credit factors are, can you share that with them?
Yes, just paying your bills on time. Now, they do have the percentages already laid out for you on those.
Right.
So pay your bills on time. That's one. That's 35%. Yes, just paying your bills is 35%. Don't miss a payment ever. Pay your bills on time. So I pretty much had decent credit score, pretty good credit score. The one thing that I was taught was to pay your bills on time. That's the only thing my dad taught me. So I rarely missed a payment, ever. That's all I knew. Second thing, utilization. That's 30%. What is utilization? If you have a credit limit of $1,000 on a credit card, you cannot go past $300. You can. 300 and below, that's 30%. That's 30%. So whatever your credit limit is 30% of that. So if it's $2,000, you can't go over $600. Does this make sense? Are y'all following me? Okay, good. So now we're at 65%. Now you got your credit history. That's like 10%, right? That's over time. Then you got your credit inquiry. When you go and buy a house, when you go and buy a car, or when you go buy furniture, those are credit inquiries. You don't want that many of those. So be careful with that. That's 10%. Derogatory collections. That's 15%. Please do not do repossessions. That hurts your credit tremendously. Direct collections, go ahead and pay that off to get that off your credit. All of that affects your credit. Those are the 5 credit factors.
What about for those? Because I know a couple people that filed for bankruptcy. So how does that affect your credit?
That's a whole nother beast. A whole nother beast. So I can't really talk on bankruptcy because I ain't never been in that category. I do not talk on what I don't know.
No,
What I do know is I would prefer you trying to get out of debt and the steps too. And it is a process. But does it take 7 years? Well, what if those 7 years you paid to get out of debt yourself?
So I want to chime in on the bankruptcy because I am one of those credit repair people, right? Yay. But this is what I do. I'm different, right? I'm different cousins. Shanae's my cousin too, right? We know we had a brother on last week. We got the sister on this week. So she's my cousin too. So it's money, money, money. And I'm loving it, right? But what I do is I'm different. I teach people how to do it themselves. I want to teach them how to fish, right? Because in the Word of God, you teach people how to fish. With the bankruptcies, right? People do it all the time. But here's the thing. Typically, they will choose the wrong bankrupt because there's different numbers to the different bankrupt. Chapter 7, Chapter 11, Chapter 13. They're different ones for different things. So where for some, where it will mess your whole life up, okay? There's others that it won't. Take our very own president, right? He's declared bankruptcy several times, but they do it the smart way. Okay. You see what I'm saying? So with that, like she said, that's a whole nother conversation. But here's a key thing too, when it comes to that beacon score, that credit, all of that kind of stuff, right? Our credit, the whole inception of when everything started, even in history, it has not changed for decades. Like century. It is so antiquated, right? And here's the thing, rich people don't worry about a beacon score. The only thing your credit score is telling you is how well you manage your debt, how well you spend money. That's it. And Shanae alluded to something earlier. I know when she said you walk in to go buy that car or get that house, right? You can walk in quite confidently, especially when you use those 5 categories that she told you about for your whole debt utilization and all that stuff. You can go in and say, I know I have an 800 plus. And they're going to give me that. I've experienced that. Okay. I've experienced going into a car dealership. And of course they look at you, right? They're going to look at you. First black and browns out there sometimes. Okay. They're going to look at you, be like, they ain't got it. They ain't got it. We're going to have to do some creative financing. Well, not for me, dear sir. Not for me, dear ma'am. Okay. So I walk in with the S on my chest and I'm saying, I want this car and this is what my payment will be and so on and so forth. And they're like, okay. And then they pull the report. And then they see that beautiful number. And then they begin to start laying out the red carpet for you. Oh, you can take this car home and drive it for the weekend. Has that ever happened to anybody? It's happened to me several times. Okay. That doesn't happen with people. So it's a different class. You know what I'm saying? And so being able to walk into these financial institutions and to be able to negotiate, or not even negotiate, but be able to even demand to say, hey, I want this. I want it at this rate, so on and so forth. They're going to be more prone to work with you because your credit score says you're trustworthy. Your credit score says you're going to pay us back, right? For that person with the 50, God forbid anybody got a 50 credits. I don't even know if that even exists. Now you got to tell us if you got, anything, like 100, 200, that's, I'm like, that's a little sketch. Okay. That's a little sketch. Okay. So I might not lend you that money. And here's the key thing too, right? With family, my daddy told me this. He goes, honey, I love you, but I'll never let you borrow any money. And this is what he said. He said, I know you're responsible. You can pay me back. I've never asked my daddy for anything, right? I'm good. I'm a good girl, right? But he goes, if you're trying to borrow $200 from me to go pay somebody else, I'm less likely to get my $200 back. You see that? So sometimes, with family, with friends, you have to monitor. And I'm sure Shanae, she teaches this with CoachBFinancial, right? You got to sometimes say no, right? For your own benefit, for you to be able to dig yourself up out of that hole. I'm not going to steal a spotlight here, but I just got so excited. I did want to ask one final question, right? Because you hear a lot, Dave Ramsey, you hear all these people out there, and I have my own stuff too, right? So what do you recommend for people? Like, what is the best way? Because there's 2 ways. Like some people say, pay off your highest interest rate first, or pay off, the highest debt first. What do you recommend for people? Because for myself, I believe it's a personal choice for every person, depending on what that motivator is going to be, right? What do you recommend in for people, what do you tell them to do? What's the smart way to make this happen?
I love that. I love everybody has their own personal. But with Coach B Financial, we're going to do the debt snowball because you need those little wins. Because Yessie said, how do you keep them going? Well, if you're doing the wins, they're going to come back. But if they're not feeling the results or they're not feeling like they're winning, why are they coming back? Why are they coming back? When you go fishing and you're not catching any fish, you're not trying to go back to that same spot. So the debt snowball works for me because I teach what worked for me. So I teach you what works for me, and then I teach you other tools, like the acorn. If I'm using it, I want you to know about it. So I'm telling you everything that I'm using, I want and show you that this has brought success for me. Then I'm going to teach you what works for me. And I know that snowball works. So that's what I believe. The avalanche may work for someone else, then I'm not the person for you. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So you have worked with many clients from different walks of life. What would you say is the most common money mistake that you see people fall into? They're like the luxury brands. They're like they have to have the Louis Vuittons and Gucci's and all that.
People like to eat out. People like to socialize. They do.
Uh-huh.
Self-care for women is high maintenance. And that's on a whole nother level. Whole nother level. If we can reel it back in and actually go back to our natural beauty, honestly, just reel it in just a little bit, because the prices of hair, getting your hair done is so much more expensive. And the hairdressers, or whatever they're called now, they'll throw a price out and they're okay with it. And I'm like, $150, $200. I'm like, whoa.
Too much.
So I just go once a month to my specialty girl and get the same hairstyle. And you got to love me for who I am and my personality and my smile, because it costs so much just to keep yourself up. That's one big expense. The eating out. If you think about the groceries and going out to eat, because I see this a lot and I do it too. If I buy the groceries, I'm not about to cook the groceries. We're probably going to go out to eat because I don't bought the groceries. Now I'm tired, and now we're going to go out to eat. So eating out, I say this: people eat their wealth, wear their wealth, and they drive their wealth.
Okay.
Yeah, they eat out a lot. They like the nice cars and they like to look nice. And I do too. But it's okay to look nice. I'm not saying not to look nice. But some people overdo it. You know how you overdrink? People overindulge in the things that they love. Reel it back in. Change that jacket up, or change the shirt up, or change the earrings. It's okay. Go in the shop in your closet. I promise you, it's stuff in there that you haven't
forgot was in there.
Say what?
No, yeah, I agree. Shop in your closet because there's a bunch of stuff you probably forgot you even had. You're like, oh yeah, I had this. Oh yeah, I had this shirt, these pants, that dress.
And if you think about it, right, we have to have the nails, the eyebrows done, the lashes, the makeup, the hair, the manicure, the clothes, the purses, the everything. Just add that up for 1 month and see the number on paper and say, does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest with you. A long years ago, I had that thought of like, oh, let me get my nails and hair done, and I realized all the expenses. So guess what I did? I went on YouTube University, and I learned how to do my nails.
Yes.
I invested in an LED light. I invested in all these different nail dips and powders and and I was doing great. People were actually paying me to get their nails done because that's how good of a job. But obviously now, due to time, I don't have time.
Yeah, right.
But I say that to say that there are ways for people to do it if they really want to. They can learn how to, like this. I flat iron my hair. My eyelashes, I figured out how to put them on. So I agree with you. There's people, if you really want to be on that budget, you can do it. It's called
You
YouTube
can do it.
University. It's called Pinterest. It's called Instagram. So you can do it. Even the gym, people
Yes.
spend hundreds of dollars a month in a gym when you could go on YouTube. You see all these personal trainers. I use Billy Blanks and Jalad. I like them both. Old school.
How much did it cost you? How much did it cost you to do that?
Before, there's a free version of YouTube with ads and stuff, so you don't have to pay nothing there. But now I only pay for the premium version because I use it for other stuff, like what, $12 a month. So it's not bad. No.
What I'm saying is, it doesn't cost as much as people.
No, at all.
The alternatives. Remember, I said I got rid of my TV, and I was already paying for Amazon Prime. So that's how I think of things, because I'm looking at my future and not just my right now.
Yep.
I love it. Look for the future, baby. Look for the future. I love it. I love it.
So let me say this. I started late investing in my my 17-year-old account, probably about 5 years ago. And I started with $50 a month, investing it into his Fidelity account. But I started, even though we feel like, oh, we should have did it as a little boy or a little kid. No, I started 5 years ago. And that has grown over time. Now, when he takes it over, he's not just starting from scratch. So I'd rather invest the $50 than invest in whatever else. If you see me waving my hands, because they're not done. I'm just natural all over. I'm just natural all over.
I love it. Yes. This is an amazing conversation. So we're actually going to pivot over to our last minute words. And it's just an opportunity for you to remind people how they can find you, book you for your services. If you have a website, phone number, email, a favorite quote, food for thought, whatever it is that you want to say as your last minute words, this is your opportunity. Cece, for Shanae to get a feel for how that goes, do you want to lead us, and then Shanae can go second, and then I can close out with the sponsors?
Absolutely. So I keep it simple, right? Make it plain, right? Just like my cousin Shanae. Amazing job. Thank you for being on the show. But I am Sandra, the Actionist with Girls with and Inspire for Purpose is one of those gigs, okay? And so I am a life strategist, a career coach, you name it, I do it, right? And God has been so good. You can find me on www.girlswithgigs.com or inspireforpurpose.com. As I like to say, remember, nothing positive ever came from negative thinking. So we got to always make sure that we're keeping that right frame of mind. And as I always like to say on my platforms, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Nice. So is it my go? It's my time. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I just can't thank you two ladies enough. And I pray that someone receives something. I don't want to just talk the talk, but I want people to receive. You can start, you can begin. It takes little steps. It doesn't happen overnight. And if you want to reach me, you can reach me at CoachBFinancial. That's my website. You can give me a call. You can reach out at 888-483-8072. You can follow me on TikTok at CoachBFinancial. I like to do children workshops and go out to different schools and workshops. Since I was a substitute teacher, I know these children need the finances. So again, I am CoachBFinancial. I'm excited about what God has for me to help people. And I look forward to maybe coming on, hanging out with you ladies again one day. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're going to have you on for a part 2 for sure. Yes. Because there were so many other questions that I had in mind, but because of time, we're like, oh, definitely for a part 2 for sure. So thank you for being our amazing special guest. Cece, thank you for making this connection. This is definitely an important topic that a lot of households, they need to know. I agree. Growing up, a lot of our colored people didn't get this information because it wasn't taught to them at that point. But luckily, because we have all these amazing tools, resources, internet and AI and what have you, we have it at our fingertips. We just have to go and look for it, right? We have to put on those private investigators to say, hey, how am I going to make my life better and my family's life better and my grandkids' life better? Thinking ahead and for the future, like you just said. So thank you for sharing all those amazing food for thoughts, nuggets, like Cece was saying, coins and everything. You did an amazing job. Yes, yes, yes. And shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Cece and Nadine for always being an amazing co-hosts. I really appreciate all that you all do. And I'm going to pivot over to our sponsors real quick. We'll be right back.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy En Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessierodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
Dream, explore, discover with Nadine's Travel Oasis. Your next adventure is just a booking away. From breathtaking beaches to vibrant cityscapes, we handle the details so you can make the memories. Luxury, leisure, or last-minute getaways, we've got you covered. Book today and let Nadine's Travel Oasis take you places. Are you ready to slay the scene and the runway? Calling all aspiring actors and models, this is your moment to shine. Join our Powerhouse Acting and Modeling Beginners Workshop starting September 8th at 7 p.m. and unlock the confidence, skills, and presence you need to dominate the stage, runway, and the camera. Learn from industry pros, hands-on modeling and acting experience. Build your portfolio of craft, perfect for beginners. Limited spots available. Registration is now open. Sign up at yessierodriguez.com/powerhouse-workshop. We look forward to seeing you there.
All right. And for those who want to be sponsors on Hoy En Día TV, we welcome you with open arms. Simply email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. It is scrolling at the bottom of your page. Also, if you want to be a future guest on Hoy En Día TV or have a topic or anything, hey, hit us up. Subject line, say topic, guest. We welcome you with open arms, hoyendiatv@gmail.com. Also, for those who want to find out more about who is Yessie Rodriguez, all you have to do is Google me. Go on Google or Safari, Internet Explorer, wherever you want. Type in Yessie Rodriguez and voila, I pull right up for you. You can find my social media handles, websites. You find a little bit more about me. So thank you in advance for your support. I really appreciate you all listening, tuning in, being here with us each and every week. Our amazing guests. Every week, I feel like it's just, I always get the warm and fuzzies. I always love it. Yes, it's like this is the purpose. This is what we're here for the people, by the people. Yes, because that is the goal here with Hoy En Día TV, is to always positively motivate, enlighten, inspire, educate, and entertain you, the viewer and listener, with each and every episode. And I know we did that today. And final words, please refrain from saying the sky's the limit and start saying this: the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. Thank you all for tuning into Hoy En Día TV. Until next time.